This is the video review of Monk Shaw, or Sandy, from the Westward, which is by the Chinese company Joythink. Here's a size comparison, so you get his scale. And here's a group shot of the other figures from this line. So here's a close-up of his head. He's got like a mask on, and I guess these are his ears, but they're just in the same gray as his hair. And his hair is pretty angular and robotic looking, and the mask is pretty organic looking. So I really don't like this head. It doesn't really have very much personality. It just kind of looks generic to me. And another issue I have with this figure is his deco is just, it's too similar to Wukong. They look very similar. They have the same kind of pleating on the hips. And I think Wukong just pulls it off better. They have the same skin tone. Everything's pretty identical. And they just really needed to differentiate this character some more. Because he's an evil monk, I think he does kind of look like the opposite of Tripitaka. So that's kind of cool, is like he's white and he's black, obviously. But he does look like an evil version of Tripitaka, which is kind of cool. They have like the same sort of forearm wrappings are kind of similar. So I think that part of it's cool, is that he's an evil version of the monk. But overall, just looking at the figure, he's got this big hip plate in the back. I guess you can kind of fold that up if you want to get that more out of the way. You can kind of have that back there. Overall, the figure, I would say for his robot mode, he's probably like a 5 for me. I just really don't like the look. He's very generic looking. His legs are especially blocky, and they have the die cast in the shins, which weighs them down, and his hip joints are really loose, so it's not a very good combination. I'm just not really a fan of this look. And then these kibble on the back of his arms are really ugly looking too. He's not working for me in robot mode. He does have the articulation that all the other figures have, so ball joint neck. He's got full 360 on the shoulder, and then a good amount of outward. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and then he has a fist pivot. I think that's for transformation. And then articulated fingers, so he can open his hands. He doesn't have any accessories though. He's got hip swivel, and then a fair amount of kick on the sides, and then a good amount all the way forward, and backward kick is hampered by this back skirt. And then he's got 90-degree knees, ankle pivots, and then this toe for transformation. And then one issue with this figure is he does have, it's kind of hard to see, but he's got a little bit of stress marks on the inside of his knee. Oh, you can really see that one. So I don't know how long these knees are going to survive. And all the figures in this line, almost all of them except for Tripitaka, have some kind of QC issues, so I'm not really surprised at this point. Okay, to transform him, you're going to rotate the wrists all the way. You're going to open up this panel, and then it's got another hinged panel on the inside. And this is on a ball joint on the inside of his elbow, and it's kind of hard to access this panel. But there you go, you get the clearance, and now you have what's obviously going to become the grill. And then you unpeg the back here, which will obviously become the hood, and that will allow his head to slide down now. Okay, you have to turn it around and then it'll slide into the chest cavity. Okay, now you're going to take his arms and hinge them above his head, and then rotate the bicep, and then you want the forearms to fold like this, and then the other forearm's going to peg right there. So you want to do the same thing with the other side. And then you're going to have this when you neaten it up. So if you rotate him, you then plug in the hood here to the front grill. So that's pretty basic, and then you have these seats on his back. And then this hip skirt is going to become the top of the truck. So you're going to peg that into the windshield, and now you have basically the front of the truck. Now you're going to fold up his hip skirts so they're out of the way. Okay, and then we'll do the legs. So you're going to pull this apart, which will open up the leg sections and give you access to the wheels. So then you fold the wheels out, and then you fold up the side windows of the front of the truck. So this, you can see, is basically the entire side of the truck is his legs. And then his toes fold into his heels to give you this. And then you're going to fold this all the way up. And that makes the other part of the side window for the truck now. So there you go, you have basically the whole side of a truck. Okay, and then once you've got his legs ready, you can see that these truck halves are upside down. So you have to rotate his thigh, and now the truck halves are right side up, and then you just fold everything into place right there. And then you're going to put this tab, will go into the inside here of where his forearm panel, and that will clean everything up. Okay, and here's his truck mode cleaned up. And this is actually a really good looking truck. So it kind of makes me think of Ironhide from the movies. He does have his orangish plastic. It's like a burnt orange all the way around, so there's no paint on the metal parts. It's just orange all the way. And it is very bland looking. You really can't see a lot of the details. They just get lost in all the black plastic. But I really do enjoy this truck mode. I would give the vehicle mode definitely an 8. This looks pretty good to me. I just kind of like the aesthetic. And then a nice touch that they have is the doors do open, so you can see the interior. And we can see if this Power Master will fit in. Nope, unfortunately he's just a little bit too big to get into the interior here. It's very close though. If he didn't have a head, he could probably fit. So that's too bad. And this is how he scales with the Transformer toys, so he's looking really good. That's a great scale. And here's all the vehicle modes together. So overall, I would say the quality of Monk Shaw is a little bit less than a Studio Series figure. Probably just 1 point less. So if that would be an 8, then this guy would be a 7. He's pretty fun to transform. It's not too difficult. He doesn't have the issues that the other figures have of like parts clashing together. If you're interested in these figures, you can get them from Sirtoys. I'll leave a link in the description. You should definitely get them sooner than later because there are quality control issues, and I think the longer you wait, if you try to get these second hand, a lot of these figures will probably end up broken. So you're definitely going to want to get them new and get them before they're like 10 years old. It'll probably be too late.